Hey, hey. Good day, good day, good day. Today's episode is all about, can you actually grow your business without posting on social media? I'm here to tell you that you can. But before I do that, if this is your first time to the podcast, welcome. This is the Creative Entrepreneur Blueprint. I'm Nathan Freitas, and every week I'm sharing with you how I'm building my successful creative business. I actually left my $300,000 a year job to do just that, and this is my journey. In addition to my story, I'm interviewing other amazing creatives just like you who are building a creative business, and we get to see behind the scenes how they exactly do it. So join us every week, join me every week. Excited to share with you. So going back to today's episode, how do you build a business without doing the traditional sales and marketing? I want to share a story with you. This is a quick episode. I'm really focused on just like quick, human, like value-packed episodes, because that's what I care about doing. It's like short, powerful messaging. But everything for me starts with a story, and this one, of course, is no different. Let's see, I think it was about 2 years ago now. 2 years ago now. I don't know about you, but I get these when I'm not thinking about making money. I have ideas, visions. And I had this creative project that I wanted to shoot. A buddy of mine who plays bass, he's an amazing bass player, lives out in Queens in New York, and he's been out there for years, one of my best friends. And I wanted to go out and play drums with him because we go back, it's another story, but we go back so many years. Back in Nashville when I first came out here, he and I connected at a jam session. It was just he and I one night, and we were bonded for life that night. It was such a fun experience. So we've been friends ever since. I wanted to go out to New York and play bass with him, but as I was getting ready to fly out, I had this thought. I said, if you're okay with it, I would love to shoot a video, a short film of you. Kind of, and the idea was basically bringing to life kind of the passion of a musician, this daily grind of practicing, rehearsing, and playing. Something that I lived and that he's actively doing in New York, and I wanted to bring that to life. And so that was it. And when I got to New York, the weather was perfect. And I was there for 3 total days, spent 2 days just connecting with him and, just having a great time. And then it was the last day, and I kind of pushed it off to the very end. It was the very last day. I said, hey, can we set aside some time to grab this footage? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I ended up following him to work. I followed him to the track where he likes to run, and we even set up some footage in a rehearsal space. And so it was this beautiful footage that we captured of him living his life in New York. But the key part of the story that I wanted to share, and this how this all relates to me building my business, is I had this vision of what I wanted to get. And at one point in that trip, as we were shooting, we were doing this footage around a track. He loves to run. And so I had all my camera gear, my backpack, and my gimbal, my Ronin, and I'm getting these Nike-esque shots of him running around the track. And the one thing I didn't have this kind of establishing shot, this thing that would really set the stage for the movement of what he's doing. Most of it was, kind of panning shots of him running by and close-up shots of his feet hitting the ground and that kind of stuff. So I said, listen, let's get a shot of you running around the track. So I threw my backpack on with all my gear, and I've got my camera on a gimbal, and so I'm like running, trying to keep up with him around this track. And we get to the tail end of this track. Granted, it's at night, and you've got these huge, I don't even know, they're halogen lights, right? There's big like stadium lights lighting this whole track and soccer field, so it's almost like day. But what I didn't know is as we're running along the track, there are these trees that kind of go around the edge of the track. And they were covering up this tungsten light, this orangish light. So you can imagine this kind of bluish light that's filling the whole stadium. And as we're running along, I'm behind him, running with the gimbal and the camera. And so it's this nice, smooth shot. And I can see these trees starting to part at the end of this track as we're coming around the curve. And as we come around this curve, these trees open up and this orange light just goes vroom, over my buddy as he's running. I can see it, and I'm behind him, and this light's just pouring out over him. And it's, for me, as someone who's so visually drawn to like just beautiful imagery, I'm pumped. And I'm like 100% zoned in at this point. I drop the camera low, I sprint as fast as I possibly can without the camera shaking, and I get this super smooth shot going around him and then in front of him. And it's this beautiful establishing shot, and it's perfect. And so your question you might be asking yourself is, how does this have anything to do with building my business? Well, it was this story that I just shared with you. My passion behind this story is something I shared with a woman that I'd becoming friends with, and we had yet to work together, but I had her on my podcast. And as I shared this story with her, she said, "Nathan, anyone that is that passionate about filming, I want to work on my projects." And so I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 months later, she flew me out for a week in Paris, and I got to capture this event that she put on, not only in the countryside, but also in this beautiful apartment overlooking the Eiffel Tower. And some of the footage that I got from that trip has been definitive footage that has helped me land other projects and other projects. And for me, as I feel the pressure of building a business, and you've got all of these methods, social media, now we've got AI that's going to speed up the amount of content we're creating, and we're going to push that out. There's going to be so much, I'm going to call it noise, right? There's just so much hustle and bustle. It's like just coming out from all these brands, fighting for that mind share of the potential customer. And I know for me personally, I can't do that. I don't want to do it. It's not that I can't, I don't want to do it. I am forever drawn to like deep human connection. And so what I have found and what I'm committed to doing with my business is focusing on deep connections. You might even call it networking. I mean, I literally took a year and I said, the only thing I'm going to do this year is build relationships with 4 people that inspire me. I did that last year. And that year was super impactful. The type of work that I created, I was flown around the world, but it wasn't directly because of my actions, right? So it's kind of this like nuanced thing where if you can, at least this is from my own experience, but if you can focus on building really beautiful relationships, or another way of saying it is, look at the work that you want to be doing. And if it's in the short term, you're, for instance, you want to do a really high-end shoot, but right now you're doing shoots that maybe are a little bit lower than what you want to, like what you want to be doing, then maybe you have to schedule out some time and some budget in your own life to do that bigger project. But it's finding the space and time to interact with the people that you really want to be interacting with, dedicating some time to them, serving them, but in the midst of doing that, making sure that you're sharing what it is you do. Now, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing, okay, that might be still a little kind of airy and not super helpful. So I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing right now with my business. What I've gotten to a point is I know exactly the type of videos that I want to be shooting, which are these honestly impactful stories, whether it's a person or a business. I want to be telling these really impactful stories that are dripping with humanity. I want these stories to just like hit you in your chest. And so that's what I'm focused on doing. You're gonna hear a puppy. My kids are watching a puppy, so if you hear that, you'll hear him in the background. But he's fine. He's in his crate. So if I want to do stories like that, that means that when I look through my list of contacts, this is what I'm actually doing. I'm going through each person that I know in my contact list, and I'm thinking to myself, how can I reach out to them and share what it is I'm doing so that they, number one, know what I'm doing, and number two, can potentially connect me with the person that will help me create what I want to create. I'm not selling. There's nothing to do with selling at all. Literally talking to someone and saying, this is what I'm doing in my life right now. Maybe it's been 6 months since you and I have talked, but I'm really passionate about what I'm doing, and I'm curious if you'd be willing to chat with me for a little bit. I can share with you what I'm doing, right? Something as easy as that. And you just ask the question, is there anyone in your network that you think I should talk with? Right? I've done this type of quote unquote selling for so many years, it's conversational. Because to me, it's not selling, and I mean that 100%. It's just, I'm not selling anything. I'm just having conversations. And when you remove that pressure of selling, it becomes human. And I feel like people feel that honesty and they lean in. And they either hire you or they point you to a person that will hire you. So I really believe strongly in this. And I hope it helps you in some way, because I know there's so much stress put on us right now with everything. And I don't think it has to be that complicated. I'll finish by saying this. 2 of my highest paying clients over the past 12 months have been through relationships, deep relationships that I've built. Actually, I'll share one last story with you, just to fully finish out this episode. This is a quick one. I had photographed a couple here in Nashville. I put together this photography product. It was called Brand in a Box. You'd come in 15 minutes. I would take 3 to 4 different lighting setups. And from that, you would have, honestly, like 40 to 60 unique images that you could use for your business, for your personal brand. And I photographed this couple. And in that engagement with them, I thought to myself, this is a cool couple. So a month later, I'm talking with the man's wife, and we're going through the product that I created for them, and she's sharing with me how much she loved it. And at the end of that meeting, I said, hey, can I ask you a personal question? She's like, sure. I said, what did I say? I said, I really enjoyed meeting you guys, and I don't know if you have any more room in your friend circle for another great human, but I would love to throw my hat, right? Or throw my name in the hat, kind of a deal. And she smiled. She says, you know what? We thought the same about you. Yeah, let's figure out a dinner. We'd love to hang out with you. I said, okay, great. 2 days later, I get a call from her husband, and this is literally what he says. He says, dude, Nathan, I hear you want to be friends. I said, yeah. He said, well, we're flying. This is during the height of COVID. He said, well, we're flying a private jet to Chicago for an event I'm speaking at. Would you like to be our photographer? And then he kind of joked. He said, it's a pretty strong first date, but it'd be a great opportunity to get to know you. I was like, oh my gosh. And of course I took him up on that. And from that trip, I captured these amazing photos, ended up gifting them with some photos of them in a picture frame, because it was a sincere thank you for bringing me and on the trip and getting to know me. And from that relationship, my highest paid clients have come. And I'm not selling, I'm just being me. So, be you, which might not always be easy, right? Be you, speak your truth about what it is you want to do, and slowly start to chip away at it, right? I haven't fully figured this out, but I know that this is the direction that I'm going and the direction I've seen success thus far. That's it. Have a great one. Talk to you later.